This is still a thing people do, right? Like, they make videos, they vlog. Hi, I'm Charlie Baker, and I am about 4.5 months on testosterone. I remember whenever I was pre-T, I was always super annoyed that people didn't make videos about tiny incremental changes, like 2 weeks on T or 3 weeks on T. Because especially when you first start, or before you start, you want to know what's going to happen immediately. Pre-testosterone, I'm not thinking about what's going to be happening to me 4 months on testosterone. I'm thinking what's going to happen in the very beginning. And that's the biggest change on testosterone. The biggest change on testosterone isn't what happens month to month, day to day, or week to week. The biggest change is pre-T and post-T. But just saying that pre-T and post-T is the biggest change on testosterone, I feel like is kind of a cop-out in talking about the changes of testosterone. So, now that that's out of the way, here's been my experience on the past 4.5 months. One thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to talk about the social differences on testosterone, because that deserves a whole other video, because it is different. The world does treat you differently when the world perceives you as a man versus perceiving you as a woman. That is a fact. That has been my experience thus far. I've divided my changes so far into 3 categories: the dude bro, the weird, and the personal. I'm going to say the personal for last, and that's going to be a lot of specific physical body stuff that maybe friends and family might not want to know. Maybe you do, maybe you're curious. Either way, we're going to talk about my genitals. Let's start with the dude bro, which covers some of the obvious. I'm growing more hair and thicker hair, and it's growing in new places, like on the top of my arms or on the top of my thighs. I also recently shaved for the first time, and now my face isn't smooth. It's already beginning to go black. You can't see it, but I know it's there. And that's what's exciting. As well as my hair getting thicker, my muscles are also getting thicker. I can do pull-ups now because my center of gravity is moving from lower where my hips are to about my stomach. It's not reached where it's going to reach yet, but it's pretty cool. Hang on, I'm gonna be that douchebag. And that's without me working out a bunch, and actually I've been sick in bed for the past 3 days, unable to eat or keep down food. And also, obviously, my voice is deepening. I've also started to teach myself how to 2-round throat sing. The dude bro kind of starts to lead nicely into the weird, because some things that I didn't expect is my smell is different, which I guess makes sense. Men and women emit different pheromones. For example, there was an old jacket that I needed to get dry cleaned, and so it's been taking me forever to clean it, because who wants to go to the dry cleaner? But I went to smell it, and I noticed that it didn't smell like my body odor that I'm used to now. It smelled different. But it was undoubtedly my sweat on that stinky jacket. That still needs to be dry cleaned. And also, my body runs a lot warmer now. That was a pretty quick change that I noticed. That has been super interesting. This winter hasn't been nearly as awful. And it's also why all those articles saying that offices are set to men's internal body temperatures instead of women's totally makes sense. I used to be cold all of the time. I used to always wear jackets. Now, if anything, I'm fine verging on warm constantly. And now that we're talking about my body, we're going to talk a little bit more about my body and what's happening, getting into the personal aspect of it. Now, whenever you start testosterone, and this is to be expected, and they tell you this, your sex drive gets a lot higher. And also that you might find you're into new things. For example, I've always been bisexual. However, the split is about 99% into women, 1% into men. That's beginning to level out some. And a lot of that is also as my relationship with my own masculinity and my ideas of that change. So this isn't exactly specifically testosterone related. However, this has been my experience in transitioning. I would say that the split is now probably about 80-20 or 75-25. And it's different. My attraction to men is very different from my attraction to women, and this is also something that I think I'm discovering in the moment deserves its own video. Speaking of sex and genitals, my clit is very large now. I have coins next to me, I'm looking for reference. Yeah, actually, haha. So if I was a dime before, it's about where we are. It's really difficult to find information on genitalia through transitioning, which makes sense because transitioning itself is still pretty new. However, I heard that the clit gets big enough for penetration, which always seems kind of unfathomable to me. Less unfathomable now. Let's see, what did I talk about? My voice is lower, I have more hair, my muscles are thicker, and I'm stronger in the quantitative sense of lifting things. Oh, my body shape is changing. That's a big thing. I don't have hips anymore. Check it out. Wow. I mean, like, there's still kind of this, but, like, I have love handles, if anything. But yeah, I can't balance things on my hips anymore. Whenever I was completely preteen, I never understood why guys didn't balance things on their hips. Because, God, I could carry so much weight. I could carry, like, 3 things of LaCroix on my hip, and it was fine. And I can't do that now. That being said, I can carry, like, 2 in each hand, and it's great. But that's been an interesting change. It's just the actual shape of my body changing as the fat redistributes. My chest has gotten flatter, thank God, because my chest dysphoria has unfortunately gotten worse, which is not unexpected. I'm not typically generally dysphoric, except in the bedroom, which makes sense if you think about it, because really that's the only time that genitals come up. Come up, haha. Oh, that's another thing with the voice changing. God, it's cracking so much. Oh my God, all my songs are changing keys, which I should, I guess, record. I said I was gonna, track the progress. Need to do that. But I'm missing a whole range now. I don't have a head voice. I'll get one. I just don't have one at the moment. But I have a nice chest voice, and I'm getting a falsetto. Like, I can sing here, and I can sing here, and up, and down. But like this, where my face is, those notes don't exist at the moment. It's just, like, blank. But yeah, I think that covered all the things on testosterone. Love y'all. Bye.